Are you trying to decide between Princess Cruises and Holland America Line for your next cruise vacation? In this video, we'll compare the newest types of ship designs of both Princess and Holland America to help you make an informed decision on these two popular premier cruise lines.
Hi y'all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're cruising good time. We recently made a video comparing Holland America and Princess cruise lines, and we had a lot of feedback on that. And one of the feedback we had was to, hey, compare it with some more recent cruises that you've been on. So we decided to make this video. We're comparing cruises that we've been on in 2025. In 2025, we went on 2 Pinnacle class ships with Holland America, the Konningsdam and Nieuw Statendam, and we went on one of the new Sphere class ships with Princess Cruise Lines with the Star Princess. So we're going to compare those head to head in this video.
We decided to do the comparison based on 5 categories: entertainment, food, service, ships, and cabin. And we decided to make the scores between 1 and 10.
So if you're into travel and you like to learn a lot about travel, give us a subscribe. We publish once a week with a lot of information on travel and cruising. We'll think will really help you out in any decisions you need to make going forward. So give us a subscribe, please.
And turn on those notifications.
The first category we're going to talk about is entertainment. And there's a lot of different categories in this, so we're going to kind of drill down in each one of those categories as we go along.
So enrichment, boy, both of these ships have so the best enrichment in the business. So can't say enough about both of these.
I agree. They both have very good enrichment programs. I always get a lot out of those enrichment lectures, whether it's on HAL or on Princess. Been on some other cruises, and they're a little lackluster this year on some other lines compared to these 2 lines. The next category is music. And I really like the music on HAL. The way they recruit their musicians to form a band that goes on there instead of hiring an established band. And with the Rolling Stone Rock Room, the B.B. King Lounge, and the Billboard, a lot of great musicians on board, a lot of music, and a lot of places to go dance too. You know, there's a lot of dance floors out there. We really had a good time.
Yes, there's almost 2 music venues going on with really good music at all times. So that's one thing I really love about Holland America.
The Sphere class also had a lot of places to go dance. You could dance in the Piazza. They had the dome upstairs where they do the disc jockey and had some dancing up there. But all in all, I think that the Holland America had them a little bit beat on the music, both in quality and in places just to go dance.
Yes, for on Princess, there's not a place to dance continuously. On that inaugural cruise we were on, the band they had was absolutely amazing.
They're really good. A shout out to Asian Soul. She did a great job.
However, it doesn't go, all night long with that band. So all in all, if you love music, Holland America had the much better music. Another important area for entertainment on cruise ships is the cruise staff having different shows. Yep. More than just trivia, but like entertainment shows. Right. And, Princess has some of the best in the business, really love the things they do. And HAL will offer it at one of these different music venues when it's a dark night. So not a ton of it or as much as Princess have. However, on the Sphere class ship, Princess Live is really small compared to the size of the ship, and it can be difficult to get a seat in there.
Yeah.
But both of them do a good job in this category, but, Princess, I lean a little toward Princess. The next category is theaters. So, HAL, I love their theater design. I think their theater design, both of them have interactive theaters that really does a great job with light and how they do their staging. But I think HAL's theater is a little better for every seat being fabulous in the house. However, the Princess Sphere class has really upped their game on the shows. So I think they had better production shows than Holland America had on either of the ships that we went on.
I fully agree on it. Absolutely. And I think the theater in Holland America is just a little bit better than the arena theater on the Sphere. And I think they're both better than the dome upstairs, which has some acoustics problems with all the glass dome, which the sound just bounces around in really bad.
Yeah. Just based on what I love to do in the evening, and this is very personal, I'm going to give Holland America a 9.8 on entertainment, and I am going to give Princess a 9.3.
So I'm a little more lenient. I'm just going to give HAL a 10 and Princess a 9 on this and kind of go on with it. No discussion about cruises is complete without talking about food. And that's what we're going to talk about next, comparing to Holland America and to Princess. In the first category in that is going to be the main dining room. The main dining room on both of these cruise lines is very good. I had good service on both of them. I thought Princess was just a little bit better. Even if Princess is kind of somewhat done away with lobster night, I've heard it on some cruise lines. It wasn't on the last cruise we were on a Star. They did not have a lobster night. All in all, I think the Princess Cruise Lines had a little bit better food in the main dining room than the Holland America line.
Yeah, and next I'm going to talk about afternoon tea. So afternoon tea is a fun thing, and Holland America still offers afternoon tea. It is beautifully done. It has nice food, and Princess has made their afternoon tea something that you have to pay for on their Sphere class, and it is $35 a person. It's a small venue. So, boy, I'm way giving my nod to Holland America for tea, mostly because it's gratis.
Yeah. Well, $35 for tea? Come on. I mean, let's just cut it down to the bare bones. But also they had it in a good spirits lounge, which only seats maybe 20 or 30 people. So it's really hard to get it to. Even if you wanted to go, it's almost impossible to get a ticket because it's such a small venue.
Yeah.
The next category is going to be a buffet. Both cruise lines obviously have the buffet. There's the Lido buffet on Holland America, and then there's the eatery on the Sphere class, and then they have a secondary buffet back in the back called the Americana Cafe. They're both good buffets with good buffet food. We're not big buffet people, so I'm not going to be really going enthusiastic about them here. But I'm going to give a little bit of nod to Princess on this because of the Americana Cafe in the back. It's a little smaller, it's less crowded, and it has pretty much the same food that the eatery did. The Holland America Pinnacle class and the Sphere class both have really crowding problems around the food. And it was just getting congested with people bumping into each other trying to get to the food and box people out so they can get more chicken wings or something. I don't know. But the Americana Cafe at the back I thought was a lot better.
And for the Princess Sphere class, you could actually walk outside on the deck and avoid the major rush in the buffet and go in the Americana buffet if you wanted to just go in the less crowded portion of it.
Yep.
So the next category is like food that you can eat outside. And I want to say both of these cruise lines have home runs in this category.
Yep,
it's really, really terrific food. Now, for where you talk about the Sphere class, one of the things I loved about it is they still have the pizza by the pool, and they have the burgers and hot dogs, etc., over by the pool. But they also now have added, a salad bar and a taco stand.
Yep.
Love that. And on the same floor that they have the buffet, they also have another pizza place that's out there, and that they've added like another burger bar and taco stands. And that never saw like a line on either of those two places. And it's a beautiful place to eat outside, the weather permitting, which was great for our cruise.
And I still contend Princess has the best pizza at sea, whether it's the pizza up on the deck or Alfredo's or that Detroit pizza you're talking about down outside the buffet on the outside there. All three of those pizzas were delicious in my opinion.
Absolutely.
On the burgers, I still like the Holland America dive-in. I got to admit, that burger stand up there by the pool was really good. You could order ahead on the app, so you didn't have to wait in line, and the app would tell you when your order's up, so you just hop right up there and get your food and go sit down and eat. So it saved a little bit of time that way, not having to do that. I enjoyed that.
I absolutely love the dive-in, and the staff up there were phenomenally nice. Some of the sweetest, best staff in the whole HAL ships. Also, though, those were delicious. But then they also had, the New York
Deli.
The New York Deli.
Yep.
And I loved the New York Deli. There you could order the pizza ahead of time, but not the delicious deli sandwiches.
Yep. The deli sandwiches were all delicious, no doubt about it. But another key thing about that was it served breakfast in the morning and specialty coffees, and usually didn't have any line at all. So you just hop up there, you can get some eggs and an espresso. You're cooking with gas at that point. It really is, and not have to miss the lines in the buffet or anything else.
I absolutely loved being able to have breakfast outside by the pool on Holland America. On that Pinnacle class ship, this is an awesome thing that they have. Yep. And that pool is domed, so, they control the temperature up there. So it's always a very, very pleasant place to grab a bite to eat.
Yep. The next part of the dining on both these ships are the cafe. Princess has the International Cafe. It's open 24 hours a day. It serves breakfast, dinner, snacks, a whole thing in there. And then the Pinnacle class has a very charming Dutch cafe, which is a lot of fun to go to. Both have very similar in some ways and then a little bit different in each other ways.
And Holland America also has up on that top deck Exploration Lounge?
Explorations Lounge.
So, these are kind of hard to compare. That Dutch cafe, the decor on it is absolutely amazing. And I love it has the little side room that you can, look out over the ocean.
Yep.
So that's pretty special. And I love the Dutch treats.
Yep.
So it's really hard. I might lean a little bit toward that, toward the Dutch cafe. Now, it's not open all the time, but on Holland America, we didn't mention this. All the dancing shuts down by like 11:30 or midnight. So you're not going to be out quite as late looking for late night snacks.
That's right. And then the last part of dining is the room service.
On room service, it's more complicated than what it seems like it should be. However, for Holland America, the room service is all free. Now for Princess, it's a little more complicated than for that. So if you have bought the Princess Plus package, Princess Premier package, or paid the service charge, then you get room service that you order on the medallion or room service that you've ordered on that little breakfast card for free. Now let's talk about those breakfast items. Now, that card that you can put outside your door that you can get fabulous coffee for either cruise line delivered in to your cabin, and different foods. Princess's foods, they offer a few things that are okay, like yogurts and cereals, pastries. Their proteins are not so wonderful. And Holland America offers a fabulous breakfast that you can order from the card.
Yes. Yeah, full American breakfast.
Yeah, that's really, really delicious. So obviously we like Holland America better for this. However, later on, let's say you want something post-breakfast and order it to the room. Now for Holland America, you're going to have to call. And we have called once and had waited 15 minutes and no one picked up. And another time, boy, somebody answered right away. And they brought us a fabulous, fabulous club sandwich.
Yeah, that was very good.
But they said if we were to order like a beverage, even though we have the drink package, we would have to pay for the beverage via room service.
Yeah.
And on Princess, if you use the medallion to order the food to come to your room or a couple of other places on the ship, as long as you had the medallion, if you have the drink package, whatever your drink will be free or whatever, they'll bring it, as well as the different food items.
Yep.
So each one of these, depending on who you are, one of these is going to appeal to you more one or the other. So
the next part of the food is the specialty dining. Obviously, both ships have specialty dining. The Sphere class has a lot of specialty dining. They have 6 or 7 different specialty dining restaurants. We have video out there. We tried every one of them and give you a review of every one of those specialty dining restaurants on the Star Princess. The Pinnacle class has fewer number of specialty dining. Both classes of ships have the Catch by Rudy's, which is my favorite on both the ships. It's an outstanding restaurant. Rudy's done a great job with that food.
Oh, absolutely adore Rudy's. And the specialty dining on both of these ships is really, really very good. You know, I prefer the service that we had on the Star Princess was better than the service that we had at the specialty restaurants on either of the Pinnacle class ships we're on.
I agree with you on that. The service is just a little bit better on the Princess and specialty dining restaurants.
Yeah, and the Princess ships, they were friendlier, and I don't know, they really made dining special. This obviously everything's subjective. For me, thinking about my overall experience, I'm going to give Princess's dining a score of 9.3 and Holland America a score of 9.
So I'm going to give Princess a score of 9.5 and Holland America a score of 9. And that notch is just, the difference is just really based on the main dining room, in my opinion. The Princess is just a little bit better in the main dining room. Give them the edge. Otherwise, I think they'd be about equal.
So our next category is service outside the dining rooms. So I am going to start out with the bar service. So the waiters on all 3 of these ships we've been on have been incredibly wonderful, super friendly, great at bringing beverages around. Can't say enough wonderful things about them. I would have to say, though, on Holland America, we have talked about this before. On the bar service, they always made us sign for the drinks. Now, that certainly isn't the server's fault, but that does make things a little more awkward. And I don't prefer that. Most other cruise ships I'm on are not requiring that.
The next part of services are the cabin stewards, a very key part of the service overall, and one that really impacts your cruise heavily on that. On the Star Princess, we had a wonderful cabin steward. She did a great job for us, had a lot of different requests for her, and she handled every one of them without any problem. On the Holland America lines, on the new Statendam, our cabin steward was kind of mediocre, but on the Konningsdam, we had 2 fantastic cabin stewards on that one. Really made our cabin worthwhile, our cruise worthwhile, and we had a good time because of all the stuff they were able to do for us. So I liked the cabin stewards overall in both of them. I'm going to kind of eliminate the one problem we had and just say both were good.
Oh, so that's going to roll us into guest services. So on guest services, interestingly enough, on both of these cruise lines, we had laundry issues where on both of them we had damaged laundry. And then on the Star Princess, we also had some lost laundry. I think it's just a few startup issues on the inaugural cruise. With Holland America, it was embarrassing how often I had to talk about the issue and with how many people I had to talk about. And all in all, my clothes were damaged and I did not get reimbursed in full, and I lost money on the clothes that were damaged. They were very nice with the dealings, but it was very, very cumbersome and uncomfortable.
Yep.
With Princess, I think Jeff went down there. I thought they were very, very fair in how they did everything. And it was one time. We only had to talk to him once, done.
Yep.
And so really, really appreciated we didn't have to spend so much of our time talking to guest services.
Yeah, it was a lot better in that way. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and I guess we also had a maintenance problem on both the ships, too.
Yes.
So we had an issue on the Star Princess. We had an issue that our safe didn't work, and it actually involved carpenters to come by. Somebody was there the night that we put it in the app. They chatted back and forth with the app. Somebody came by, evaluated it. The carpenters came by the next day, got it fixed. And they were so amazingly thoughtful and really, really appreciated things. On one of our Pinnacle class ships, we had problems that water, like the sewage, backed up onto the floor in the bathroom. And we reported it, and we never heard anything if anybody came to fix it while we're shore excursion or anything else. However, the next day when we were disembarking, we once again had sewage on the floor in the bathroom. So obviously, greatly prefer Princess in the whole guest services department. So I guess it's not really a surprise. I'm going to give Princess a 10 on services outside the dining room, and I'm going to give Holland America an 8.5. It's pulled up by the fabulous people that work the bars and take care of you in the cabin.
I'm going to give Princess a 10 because I thought they did everything really well. Holland America, I'm going to give them a 9.5 because I'm going to exclude the maintenance issues or downplay the maintenance issues. How about that? Because I really want to focus on what they did with cabin stewards and wait staff outside the dining room. I think all those folks did a really good job for us.
Truthfully, I pulled the score up. I thought they did an amazing job. They deserved a 10, and that's how it got an overall of 8.5.
So the next category we're going to talk about is probably what you really tuned in for, is to talk about the differences between the actual ships. And on the Holland America Pinnacle class ships, those are a lot of fun ships. They're a smaller ship. They're about the size of the Princess Coral class ships, the Island and Coral Princess. Great for the historic locks. You're down low if you're going to see the wildlife in Glacier Bay, and they're easy to get around in. I like that size of ship a lot.
Oh, I absolutely adore that size of ship. Cruise on them anytime. And then the other class, though, for Princess's newer, they were getting super big, right?
Yeah.
So this is Princess's Sphere class. And for this, it's around 170,000 tons, a very large ship. You will get your steps in. However, it has so many different things to do, and they do a fabulous job of having enough space so you don't feel crowded. Yep. And so I absolutely loved being on this Sphere class ship. That was like, anyway, size-wise, I was really surprised how much I love the Sphere.
I was too, because I'm not a big fan of huge ships. But I often commented while we're on board the ship that the Star actually made me think of the Island Princess a lot, because the Island Princess is significantly smaller than the Star, but it's how the crowds felt. You never felt crowded. It was easy to move around. Didn't wait on the elevators. It was just really easy to get around on that ship and didn't feel crowded. I really enjoyed that class of ship.
Yeah, the one thing was Princess Live. I thought that it could have been larger. There were several times I wanted to go in, and I didn't get there early enough.
The next thing to really compare are the atrium, what they call it on the Holland America Pinnacle class, versus a piazza, which what they call it on the Sphere class. The piazza is huge on the new Sphere class. It's actually another entertainment venue now, because they have a stage, really nice sound system and lights, and seating around all three decks around there, so you can get a seat, watch the band or the comedian or acrobats, whatever's going on in there. And so it's a really different type of venue. The Holland America atrium is really just kind of an open area with some sculptures and stuff like that. It's kind of nice to be open, but they don't do any entertainment in there or anything like that. It's a lot smaller.
Yeah, so one of the important areas to me are like all the pool areas. If you talk about Holland America, so they have that pool with that beautiful roof that they can open and shut, and they do a good job of opening it when it's beautiful days instead of just keeping it shut. And I did love that area. Super gorgeous. They had a couple of hot tubs. They did have like the giant TV. However, that TV... while the resolution's not near as good as the one on the Sphere class ship, and it certainly wasn't as large. And Princess, things I loved is that they have several different pools in different areas, which is a lot of fun, but very limited. If you're in cold places, there are very limited areas that you could actually be indoor and swim. However, if you warm a pool, I've swum when we've been in Norway in, mid-October. So I'd still go swimming on the Sphere class ship, provided the pools were warm, and providing, my arm was in good shape. I certainly couldn't swim, aboard the ship this time, unfortunately.
A lot of hot tubs on the Sphere class ship. I liked that because it was easy to find a hot tub. And they had some of the big hot tubs, so you're not sitting there just kicking the people next to you in a little hot tub. I like having a big hot tub in there, a little more room to spread out and don't feel as cramped.
Well, and on these decks, both of them had a great amount of deck space for viewing in places like Alaska.
Yeah.
And we love being on the Konningsdam in Alaska. That was a great time.
Yeah, both ships offer a lot of places to see the canal. If you're you're doing a transit in the canal, Alaska, like you said, or whatever scenery you're going to see. A lot of places to get out, see what you're going to look at, and spread out. You're not crowded. And you're kind of sheltered from the elements in a lot of cases, too, especially on the front end of that Sphere class ship.
Well, and certainly they had that area on the Pinnacle class, too. Both ships have great places to view, both indoor and outdoor. Really impressed with these ships in that way.
Yep. One thing that both cruise lines offer on all three of these ships are some little special touches that kind of make your cruise a little nicer. On the Sphere class ships, Princess is up their game. Now they have the cut crystal that you get on the Holland America ships. I always gave Holland America a nod just because a little nicer glass to get your evening drink served in there. But one thing Holland America really offers is just some these little special touches, like the orange party's a lot of fun. I like it they change the elevator carpet out every day to match the day of the week that you're on, which is on a long cruise actually kind of helpful, I got to admit. And the pea soup they serve like out on Glacier Bay. These little things are just a lot of fun to kind of have and make your cruise a little more special.
Yeah, and I think it's very thoughtful that they put a scale out in the elevator lobby.
Yes.
So on your last day, you could go weigh your suitcase to make sure you don't exceed any limits and get a penalty at the airline.
Yep.
I think that's just another really thoughtful touch that Holland America does.
Yep, I agree.
One of the things I do like about Princess is they offer self-service laundry.
Yes.
Now, I do think that on the Star Princess that they should have offered more washer and dryers on this ship based on the number of people. However, it's terrific to have the ability to wash a few things, especially if you're cruising with kids.
One nice thing that the HAL Pinnacle class ships offer is that library. They have a really nice library. It has a ton of different books in there you can check out, read it. If you're looking to unwind on a trip, that really helps you out with the old, paper book and unwind and just have a good time with that. And they've done away with the library on the Sphere class ships altogether. They had it on some of the older ships, but I couldn't find one on the Sphere class ship.
I do really love both of these ships. And scoring-wise, I decided to give Holland America a 9.5 and the Princess Sphere class a 9.3.
So I like them both a ton. I think even though there are big differences on the sizes, I'm going to give them both a 10 because they're both really great. And the big old Sphere class feels like a small ship, and a small ship has a lot of good things to go like you would with the big ship. So I'm going to give them both a 10 in there. I think they both do a great job. So the next category to talk about are the cabins. And by the way, we've done videos on all three of these ships for both the ship's tour and cabin tour. So if you want a lot more details on all three of these ships, please check out our playlist on ship and cabin tours. All those videos are going to be right in there. One thing I liked about all three of these ships are the huge showers. They have big glass showers. You're not fighting a shower curtain continuously while you're trying to take a shower. It just made for a much more pleasurable cruise for me just to have a big shower in those bathrooms.
And they had separate shampoo, conditioner, and shower gel in the showers, which I did appreciate.
Yes, absolutely. I like that. The cabin layout was pretty good on both of them. I liked I thought they both had some pretty good storage. I'm gonna give the nod to Holland America. I think they had just a little more organization in there than what the Princess Sphere class did. There was a couple more cabinets.
See, and I think I preferred the Princess cabin, and I liked it that while Holland America had a love seat, Princess cabin has the large sofa with the 3 different cushions. I thought the cabin just felt larger and a happier, more peaceful design.
But I do love those Princess beds. Those Princess beds are very comfortable. I sleep very well on a Princess bed.
Yeah, and we've been on 8 cruise lines, and these are just some of the favorite cabins that we've been on for many of the lines. So I'm going to give Princess a 9.8 and Holland America a 9.5 on these cabins.
I'm going to be a little more generous for Holland America, give them a 10. I'm going to give Princess a 9.5. And that little edge is just based purely on the cabinets. I think the Holland America has a couple little extra cabinets in there to help with the storage and organization in those cabins.
But all in all, you can tell we think both of these cruise lines are terrific. And you may have noticed we did not talk about technology in this video. We'd talked about it in a past video, and boy, Princess... most people agree that Princess has the best technology in the business, but that's not super important to everyone. So we kind of wanted to leave that out on this scoring today.
Yeah. I will say this. If anybody from Carnival Corporation is watching this video, please move the medallion over to Holland America line. Why haven't you done that already? I don't know, but it would make a much better experience over there with Holland America line. You own the technology. Move it on over there.
And if you are interested in the Princess technology, go check out our playlist and find videos on this subject matter. Or feel free to leave us a comment. Well, you can tell we absolutely love both the Sphere class ship on Princess and the Pinnacle class ships from Holland America. And when I put my scores together, I had the Sphere class ship with a 9.5 and the Pinnacle class with a 9.3.
For me, they scored a little bit closer than that. I had Holland America at 9.7 and Princess at 9.6. So it's a little closer to me. Like Becky says, both are great lines. We enjoyed both lines. We enjoyed the Pinnacle class ship. We enjoyed the Sphere class ship. I'd do them again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that certainly should be a takeaway. And apparently I'm a harder grader. So we do these cruise videos all the time. And if you have found this useful, you may want to subscribe. We publish every week, and we'd love to welcome you to our family.
And also check out the rest of our cruise channel. We have a whole lot of playlists out there, not only on ships tours and like we've talked about in this video, but also on different destinations like the Mediterranean or Alaska or Caribbean, and also on different types of package evaluations. Does the Have It All package or the Princess Plus package make sense for you? We explain all the math for you in all those videos.
We hope you've enjoyed this video.
If you liked the video and you want some more information, please give us a subscribe and turn on those notifications.
Until next time, have a cruising good time.